Well, hello and good afternoon to Voice of the People TV, and we welcome you to the African news right here on VOP TV. My name is David Edwin. We begin the news in Ethiopia, where the European Union has reaffirmed its commitment to supporting Ethiopia in its fight against terrorism in the Horn of Africa. This assurance came during a visit by Rita Laranjiha, Managing Director for Africa at the European External Action Service, who met with Ethiopia's State Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ms. Gano Arega. Laranjiha emphasized Ethiopia's critical role in maintaining peace and stability in the region and the EU's ongoing commitment to bolstering this effort. During her discussion with Ariga, Laranjiha also praised Ethiopia's economic growth despite widespread economic challenges facing many families in the country. She highlighted the EU's interest in furthering economic ties with EU member states and Ethiopian businesses, indicating that this partnership will strengthen investment opportunities and trade relations. State Minister Ariga used the opportunity to advocate for Ethiopia's homegrown economic reforms, noting that the changes have created favorable conditions for trade and investment. He called on European companies to take advantage of Ethiopia's emerging investment opportunities, further reinforcing the nation's push towards economic recovery and development. From Ethiopia to Liberia we go, where President Joseph Nyoma Boakai has urged the global community to unite in combating the escalating food insecurity that threatens millions of lives, particularly in Africa. Speaking on an audience of heads of states, development partners, and representatives of institutes in Rome, Italy, President Boakai highlighted the dire situation in Africa, where millions faces acute food shortages. The president emphasized the urgency of the situation, highlighting that one in five people in Africa go to bed hungry, which he described as a statistic that compels us to act decisively. He reiterated Liberia's readiness to contribute to global food security by sharing its vision for a resilient agri-food system that prioritizes sustainability and inclusivity. According to the Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services, that's LIGIS, agriculture serves as the primary income source for around 80% of Liberia's population. However, Liberian farmers have encountered numerous challenges and that have hindered their productivity over the years. Additionally, he said, despite a conducive climate and good soils for crop production, Liberia has long suffered from food insecurity due to extreme poverty and endemic inefficiencies in the country's food and agricultural system. The 2021 Global Hunger Index classifies Liberia's level of hunger as serious, with Liberia ranked 110 of 116 countries on hunger conditions. Still in Liberia, former Finance Minister Samuel D. Twe Jr. has taken the Unity Party, that's the UP government, to task over its handling of the wage bill and harmonization policy, accusing the administration of misleading voters during the 2023 presidential election campaign. Twe's remark, contained in a social media post made on Monday, October the 14th, came following the release of a memorandum of economic and financial policies in which the current government outlines its plans to reduce the nominal wage bill as part of its agreement with the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Twe, in his post, lambasted the UP for backtracking on its promise to reverse the wage harmonization policy introduced under the administration of President George Weah and carried out by the Coalition for Democratic Change. He argued that the UP's recent agreement with the IMF proves the new government has no intention of reversing the policy despite promises made during the election. According to TWER, the UP government has agreed to slightly reduce the wage bill in comparison to the 2023 figure, targeting a reduction from 7.1% to 6.3% of GDP. This will translate into a wage bill reduction from an estimated 305 million US dollar to 270 million US dollars, cutting the $34 million from public sector salaries. Joining us now to analyze these stories is Barrister Darlington Agumo, VOP's in-house analyst, social critic, and of course, a lawyer. Barrister, very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, David. And how are you today?
I'm fine, very well, thank you. How are you doing as well?
I'm okay.
All right, let's get to it almost immediately. It's interesting that some countries, particularly Ethiopia, is getting some support from the EU, particularly when it's against fighting terrorism in that country. As it stands, the UN has reaffirmed its commitment to supporting in the fight against terrorism in the Horn of Africa, particularly in Ethiopia. Does this in any way look like a welcome development? Because Africa presently is bedeviled with so much insecurity, and it seems like we have no solution to these insecurity levels.
My dear, don't be deceived. They don't love you.
Why do you say so?
Those people, whether European Union or whether America, whether UK, whenever they tell you that they are coming to help you, be wary. They never love you. They are after one thing and one thing only, to keep you where you are. They don't want Africa generally to develop. In what way are they going to help Ethiopia to fight terrorism or insecurity?
Barrister, when you say that the EU, for instance, who is coming to help Ethiopia, does not want Africa to develop, what exactly are you saying? Developing in what sense, and how do you think this accusation of yours is having its base in fact?
Look, let me compare what they told you with what Satan told Jesus Christ when he took him to the pinnacle of a mountain and asked Jesus Christ to bow down and worship him so that he would give him the whole of this city. The question you ask yourself, if Satan were to give Jesus Christ that city, his next victim, what will he give him? Because he uses material things to attract his victims. Okay. When are we going to borrow ourselves every time they want to help Africa? Meanwhile, they are not helping you, rather they are making you. Edwin, if you go to Congo today, Congo, there are 120 terrorist group, militia group, who are arming them, who are funding them, who are protecting them, the white man, the Western world, because of what? The mineral resources in Congo. Can you beat that? Since 1960 that country had independence, they have never seen peace for one day because of what? These same evil people will come to plunder their resources. The same thing is going on in Nigeria today. Look at Zamfara, our gold, our mineral resources. So whenever they say they are coming to help you, tell them don't worry, we'll sort our problem ourselves.
But at this point, when the leaders in Africa, particularly Ethiopia now, they are not seemingly helping themselves.
Because they created that war. They created that problem in order to come in with their so-called help. Africa would have been a peaceful place if not for this Western world. Quote me. They never wanted us to be independent. So when they discovered that colonialism was becoming out of fashion, they now went through neo-colonialism. Is that not what is going on in Africa today? Go and check any African nation that is free from the stranglehold of these Western powers. Mention one. Is that not why Niger, Mali, and this other one, Burkina Faso, broke out of their colonial masters? Look at what was going on there. Their own money, they had to save it in France. And when they want to borrow money, they now pay interest to borrow their own money. Is that not why those people got angry and left? Is that what you call help? Okay, they cannot save their money, Abi. You are the only one who has the wisdom to save money for me. I can't save my own money. My dear, if you see how this thing annoy me, if you see how this thing irritates me, you won't believe it.
Quite unfortunate. But as it stands, just like I said earlier, African leaders does not seem to want to have a final solution to all of this. Is it that there is no political will in getting it right when it comes to insecurity and, of course, the economic positions of Africa?
It's not so. Look, Africa would have gotten it right if only this colonial master will leave them alone.
How much of a decisive decision can African leaders make when it comes to getting it right in insecurity?
They cannot do that because this Western power, they have a way of using their resources to cause problem for you if you don't turn to their tune. I just told you what is going on in Congo today. I just told you. Go and check. Since 1927, over $270 trillion has been taken away from that country in mineral resources. The cobalt, you see all this your smartphone you are using?
Yes.
It is cobalt. If you check, all the Western, 80% of the cobalt in their country they are using for all this they are doing is from that particular place called Congo. Congo DR. What does that tell you? You cannot begin to quantify the evil these people have done. Yet they came to help you. They came to help you. They won't even allow you to price your mineral resources properly. They just plunder it. They plunder it. If you don't agree with them, they cause problem for you. Who is funding this terrorism in the north? The bandit and other. Who is funding them? Or have you not heard the true story? If you are doubting me, go and ask Al-Mustafa, Abacha's former CSO. Go and ask him. And that one is the power player. He knows what was going on. And he has revealed it on several fora. That is what we are talking about. The leadership in Nigeria today, who is behind them? Who is behind him? Every time they will now pull the string and tell you, we are going to release some documents on you. Then that one will run and say, please don't release it. How much do you want? They will not keep quiet. Remember that FBI told you just last September they are going to release some documents on Tinubu. They said it 2 months ago. And I asked myself, I said, come, when will these people stop playing these pranks? You want to release something in 2 months' time, you are alerting him this month. So that what will happen? If you really have anything, release all of them and let's rest. But every time they need that money or they want to shake Tinubu, they remind him, you have some documents with us, so we are going to release it. And that one will be rattled. He start running up and down. And they send some people, they'll go and do some, underhand business and all that, and they keep quiet. The document they promised to release last month or June, where is it? This is how you are using to hold you on stranglehold. That's one of the things they are using.
Now, one of the very interesting part of this conversation is the fact that African leaders consistently keep going to these European bodies for help.
Because
now, another interesting story is that of the president of Liberia, none other than President Joseph Nyoma Boakai, who have called for urgent actions when it comes to food insecurity in this country. Now, he's gone as far as Italy to source for this help. Again, this is another president who is going outside to get help. Does it mean that within his own continent and even his country, he cannot source for that help? Or is it just some level of what some quarters will call laziness of the mind that is making these leaders not want to look deep within to bring solutions to all of these troubles?
My dear, most of their help, most of the help they need is mostly coming from the Western world because this Western world will not allow them to breed. They will make sure, I said neo-colonialism is what's going on. That's colonialism through economic means. It's no longer political means, it's not economic. They know you. They want to make sure that you are attached to them. Whenever you are hungry, they throw peanuts at you so that you can remain hungry and be working for them. I mean, you can remain alive and be working for them. That's what they do for you, nothing else. They don't want you to die. They don't want you to live because they need you to continue to hone their industrial machinery abroad. Your mineral resources is what they're after, nothing else. They came here, they plunder it, and they use it to develop their country. I just told you about Congo. Go and ask anybody, do your research. You will see the amount of resources taken away from that and every other African country. Go and check. That is what they're after, not your helping you to do. And it's clear. In fact, it can never happen for them to help you to. Whom have they helped to develop? Except those who put their foot down and say, we don't need you. That's the only people that have survived in Africa. Go and check. Any other African country that is, especially they use their agents like IMF, World Bank.
Yes.
They use them to invade your country and you think they came to help you. Help you for what? It's not possible. Just look at the policy of those people. All their policy just to keep you down.
Now,
you must not rise up.
Some quarters have said that same kind of policy is what African leaders are also using on their people.
No, it is not their fault. Though. They have no choice. They told the President Buhari, you either implement subsidy removal on fuel and energy, or we will not borrow you money. Is that not the condition they gave him? No, it's not the condition they gave him. So the man has no choice because the previous administration plundered the treasury and the man had to implement it. You think they are doing it for your own, is a lie. By the time this thing is sustained, and by the time Tinubu leaves us, you discover that no single thing will be achieved because the policy is not workable. They just put it there to keep you down.
It's interesting you mentioned policy, and then what comes to mind is the fact that this present administration in Nigeria has also said that the CNG bus conversion is something that will be easy for Nigerians and, of course, enjoying gas and CNG as it were. How very realistic is this coming to the path of transportation for Nigerians?
Who told you it will be easy? Oh, yeah, go and convert your car and see how much you will pay. Go and convert your car and see. Did you hear that the federal government said, look, this thing is going to be free. Just bring your car and convert it. Because of the amount of money put on this thing, nobody is coming for that conversion. Quote me, nobody is coming. Our own dear Cordelia here, they told her that her own will cost $1 million naira. The lady told them that she's coming, and she took off. That's just one person. Oh. Imagine all over Nigeria, you are using that kind of money to go and convert a car. And it depends on the grade. Oh. And there's no guarantee that that thing will last as be sustainable because it's not factory fitted.
There's even the concern about where to get these gas stations around when you want to buy.
How many of them have you seen? It's just to please the IMF and World Bank. I've told you this thing. It's just to please them. Every policy.
Again, the concern now, Barrister, would be how much would the people take when it comes to these
until they cause revolution in your country. That's what they want. They want to cause problem so that they will now make more money from you. When the time this in their policy begin to bite and people rise up and there is no Nigeria, they will say yes. They will now come in to plunder what is left. That's what they do. I said that's their modus operandi anywhere. Look at Libya. Libya per capita income was 10 times higher than America. Obama got offended. Obama got envious and greedy and removed Muammar Gaddafi from office just because Americans were going to Libya to work, to do chaffu, to do driving work and all that. And America felt it is, how can an African country, a third world nation, be this rich and all that? That was the primary motive. Not that Gaddafi is punishing his people or that. Look at what was going on in Libya, even up to today. Their standard of living is still very higher than that of America, in Nigeria. I said, if you don't agree with them, they will find a way to deal with you. And thank God, Obama later confessed that they made a mistake in what they did in Libya. He said it. So that's what happened. Though. If you are not your own man, don't confront these people. Unfortunately, they have been selecting leaders for us. Yes. Whenever, why do you think they're interested in your election and everything? They want somebody who will do business with them. When you go to that Chatham House and they begin to, pick your brain, what do you think they're doing? They want to know whether they can do business with you or not. When Peter B refused to sign one useless paper and other, is that not why they say no? This one never reached for them to.
Now, when you say the European world is interested in our elections, one goes to wonder. Elections are gearing up in Ghana, December the 7th. Is, of course, the same level of insecurity is what Ghanaians are facing with the illegal mining that is consistently happening in that part of the country.
Exactly.
But wouldn't there be a person that would shut down all of these external pressures and carefully look for how internally they can generate revenue to help the country? Is that not possible in any way?
We have discussed it here. One of the candidates was campaigning against that illegal mine. I think there's one particular name they call it, their local language.
Galamase.
Good. He's campaigning against it. But to check now whether he will get that position. Just wait, let the election be over. You see whether he will get it. That's how I will leave it. To tell you what I'm telling you, just to buttress my point, to validate my point. They will not allow you, as long as you don't want them to come and make you. As long as you don't want them to come and plunder you, they will not like you. By the way, don't we have leaders in Ghana who allow that thing to be going on? Why does he have to take an opposition to be campaigning against it? The man at the helm of affairs, is he not aware? Is he not aware? They even arrested some people who were protesting against it. They arrested them in Ghana. So what does that tell you? The man wants to remain in office. And his Western masters had to do that so that business can go on.
Now, Barrister, you just said something very interesting. Opposition will campaign against something that is ongoing.
Yes.
Of course, issues like illegal mining. In Nigeria, once upon a time, the present president, who was in the opposition at the time, campaigned against fuel hike.
Yes.
Now, we're having something very similar right now. But then, how and when would African leaders in any space get it right?
Until they elect a leader who is visionary. A leader that meant well for that country. A leader that is not after his own personal gains. That is all. Because some of these criminals who claim to be African leaders, they have investment abroad. They know their account. So if you begin to be stubborn, they will expose you. That's what they're using to hold them to ransom. The first thing they do is they start encouraging them to be stealing their people's money. So that whenever they want to be stubborn, they will expose them. And then there will be a problem at home. The moment you have a leader that is very, very sincere, a honest leader, my dear, you see the difference.
All right. Well, definitely we'll keep our eyes on all of this. Thank you so very much, Barrister Darlington Agumo, for being here.
Thank you, David.
Well, you've been watching the African News on Voice of the People TV. More stories just after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Tension is brewing between the police motor traffic division and cattle owners over the implementation of an operation to clear the road of stray animals. While the police call the mandatory exercise as a public safety measure, the cattle owners allege it has turned to become a monkey marking venture for the police, with heavy fines imposed on each cattle rounded up. Last week, some concerned cattle owners and members of the National Livestock Association of the Gambia accused the police of indiscriminately rounding up cattle and dumping them at Abuko, presenting them as stray animals, to find excuses to impose a 5,000 dirham fine per cow before their owners could collect them. Saidul Lam, Secretary General of the association, said there was an illusion that these cattle belonged to a dead man who caused anyone coming near them, but now that they realize that every cattle they brought here at Abuko has an owner, it has turned to a monkey-making venture for the police, with each cow attracting 5,000 dirham. He alleged that it cannot even be ascertained whether receipts have been used for all the payments made. The European Union has committed a $1 billion under the Team Euro initiative to support the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, and drive economic integration across the continent. This significant investment was announced during a meeting between EU Commissioner for International Partnership, Junta Erpelian, and African Union Commissioner for Economic Development, Albert Muchanga, held in Addis Ababa on October the 14th, 2024. Erpelian highlighted the EU's long-standing support for Africa's economic integration, emphasizing that this initiative will bolster intra-Africa trade and collaboration. The AfCFTA, established in 2018, aims to eliminate tariffs and streamline trade across Africa. However, participation has been slow, with fewer than 10 countries fully engaging, including Ethiopia, which ratified the agreement in 2019 but has faced implementation challenges. Team Europe's support includes 70 projects spanning sectors such as trade, digital economy, intellectual property, and competition. Through collaboration with EU member states like Germany, France, and Denmark, the initiative seeks to deepen economic ties and further Africa's development, promoting a more integrated and prosperous continent. Meanwhile, a bus accident on the Al Galala highway near Ain Soknia tragically killed 12 students from Galala University and injured 33 others. The bus en route from the university to Cairo overturned on Monday. Egypt's Ministry of Health confirmed that 7 students died at the scene, while the injured were taken to the Swiss medical complex. Local authorities have launched an investigation into the cause of the clash, which underscored persistent road safety concerns in Egypt. Moving on, the African National Congress, ANC, has clarified that Obed Bapella's recent visit to Morocco was neither endorsed by the party nor the government. Bapella met with Morocco's foreign minister to discuss bilateral ties, contradicting the ANC's stance supporting Western Sahara sovereignty. The ANC swiftly responded by removing Bapella from its subcommittee on international relations. Deputy Secretary General Nomvula Mokenyane confirmed that Bapella's actions were not aligned with the party's foreign policy. And in Egypt, Egyptian charter airline Smart Aviation is negotiating with CIAF Leasing for a portion of a $20 million loan to acquire a longer-range passenger aircraft, though the specific type has not been disclosed. To manage its financial commitments, Smart Aviation plans to sell an aircraft for $4 million, aiming to ease accumulated interest on a $33 million bank loan, now restructured for repayment over 6 years. The airline reported a $7 million profit last year, recovering from a $2.5 million loss in 2020. The Ethiopian Defense Forces have reportedly intensified airstrikes and drone attacks in the Amhara region, targeting areas such as Gecheche, Merawi, and other locations in Gochem. The strikes are part of the government's final operations against the Fano forces. Civilians, including women, children, and families, were among the casualties, though the exact numbers remain unclear. Despite the government's claim of targeting extremist forces, local reports highlight significant civilian losses. The government has yet to officially comment on the airstrikes. You're still watching African News and Voice of the People TV. More stories in business and sports after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now to some business stories. The European Union has committed 1.1 billion euro to support the African Continental Free Trade Area under the Team Europe initiative aimed at boosting Africa's economic integration. This announcement followed a meeting between EU's Commissioner Junta European and AU Commissioner Albert Muchanga in Addis Ababa. The funding will back 70 projects across sectors like trade, intellectual property, and investment, with fewer than 10 African nations fully participating in the AfTA despite its 2018 launch. While still in business, a growing shift towards internet calling and messaging has significantly impacted the revenues of mobile network providers in 2023, as highlighted in the Communications Authority's year-end report. The minutes of use per subscription dropped to 120.4 per month in Q4, reflecting a decline in traditional voice and SMS usage. While Safaricom maintained a dominant share of voice and SMS market, the report also noted a continued rise in internet subscriptions, driven by increasing resilience on digital services. The introduction of Starlink services contributed to a notable surge in satellite internet growth. And from business, we move straight to some sporting stories, where the Libyan Football Federation has deplored Nigeria's decision to withdraw from the upcoming 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifier, while vowing to take legal action to defend its national team's interest. Nigeria Super Eagles pulled out of the match, which was scheduled on Tuesday, October the 15th, citing safety concerns after being stranded at Al Abak Airport for more than 13 hours due to an unexpected flight diversion on Sunday. In a statement shared by the Libya Observer, the LFF accused the Nigerian Football Federation of not cooperating in the organization of the match. The Libyan Football Federation clarifies that if Nigerian counterparts did not cooperate with in any way, whether regarding the first or second leg match, noting that the event beyond their control do not equal a small part of what the Libyan national team was exposed to in the first leg match. The statement offered an apology to Libyan football fans for the confusion and delays in the match agreement, attributing these issues to to the Nigerian Football Federation's action. The Libyan Football Federation apologizes to Libyan football fans everywhere and to the parties concerned with the match arrangements due to the state of confusion caused by the Nigerian Football Federation, which led to the match not being held on time. With that, we've come to the end of African News on Voice of the People TV. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV, and on all other social media platforms, we are at VOPTV Live. Thank you so very much for being here. I am David Edwin. Do have a good afternoon.